Hello, in this video we're going to quickly run through the process of installing and setting up a packet capture server. For this video we're going to start from scratch using an AWS server as our example machine, but the process should be similar for most cloud service providers. So let's get started. First we'll create a micro instance of a Windows 2008 server. For testing purposes, these are ideal as they can be continuously run without incurring any charges. To get the administrator's login password, AWS requires you to create an encryption key, so we'll do that and save it to our local disk. Once the instance is up and running, we'll get its public IP and create a remote desktop session. But first we'll need to get the login password and decrypt it with the encryption key we downloaded. With that done, we can now log into our newly created server. We'll create our installation directory per the OmnIoT installation instructions and copy over all the contents from the Packet Capture Server's installation package directory. While the files are copying over, we'll go back to the AWS Security tab and open the port we're going to have the Packet Capture Server listening on. We'll create a new inbound rule to open port 27554. Now we've got all our files over to our AWS server, so we'll need to allow the Packet Capture Service executable to be able to listen through the Windows firewall as well. And lastly, we'll specify our chosen port in the Packet Capture Service's configuration file. Though the Packet Capture Service is actually built as a Windows service, it can also be run in the foreground for testing purposes. In this example, that's what we're going to do, just to be sure we have everything set up correctly and can get our packets through the AWS and Windows security layers. So in a console window, we run the executable with the debug option parameter. It fails here because this is a fresh machine and it will need the Windows runtime installed. We've already downloaded it, so we'll copy it over and install it now. You may or may not need to go through this step depending on whether or not your server already has the Windows runtime installed. If you do need to download it though, just be sure to get it from Microsoft directly and not one of the many third-party suppliers that will come up if you Google for it. So with that done, we should be good to run our debug session. Before we do though, since for now we just want to print the packets to our screen, we'll rename the example packet receiver DLL named packetReceiver_print.dll to packetReceiver.dll, which is the DLL name the service always is going to try to load. So again, we'll restart our server and jump over to an SSH session we have to a device running the SoftHub application. We're using the same rule engine configuration file from example 1 in our demonstration video series, so we'll just need to change our target IP address. Normally, this should always be done via the SoftHub configuration utility, but for expediency, here we're just going to make the change directly. So with that done, we'll save our updated ruleengine.xml file and start the SoftHub daemon. And jumping back to our packet capture server, we see that our packets are being received, indicating we've set up our server correctly. That wraps up our video. To quickly recap, we created our AWS server instance, downloaded our AWS encryption key file, used the key file to get our login password, logged into our new AWS server and copied over our installation materials, configured our port access through the AWS and Windows firewalls, set the port in the Packet Capture Services configuration file, installed the Windows Runtime library, and updated our SoftHub configuration file with our AWS server's IP address. Thanks for watching, and we hope this video has been helpful.